time to review simple past. Simple past tense. Let's take a look at some examples. Columbus discovered America. Mother Teresa brought kindness to poor people. I was happy on the 4th of July. George Bush dove into the pool. So the simple past is used to describe actions that started and finished in the past. Okay. Let's take a look at some forms. For walk, we add ed to form the simple past. Walked. Jump, jumped. Direct, directed. But some verbs are irregular. For example, run in the simple past becomes ran. Bring becomes brought. Do becomes did. Okay, let's practice now. I think everyone knows the simple past, right?
Yes.
Okay, Linda, when did Franco become the leader of Spain?
I don't know. I think he became the leader in 1928.
Yes, I think you're right. Sylvia, how did Christopher Columbus get to America?
I think he sailed in his boat. I think he had 3 boats.
Very good. Alberto, when did Mussolini die?
He died in 1945. He was a bad leader. My grandfather hated him.
Very good, thank you. Now we can also use used to describe past experiences. So we use used to describe actions or situations in the past that are no longer true, that we no longer do. In the past. Okay, let's look at some examples of used to. He used to be in the army. My mother used to run, but now she doesn't. We used to speak only our language, but now we also speak English. Now it's time to look and listen.
Look and listen.
Churchill used to smoke 10 cigars a day. The Second World War started in the 1930s. Tito was the president of Yugoslavia. Hillary climbed Mount Everest in 1953.
Read and repeat.
Now let's review quantifiers. So quantifiers tell us how much of something. Let's look at some examples. John has a few computers in his office. All of the spaceships left for Mars. Most of the robots are in that building. The astronauts found a little water on the new planet. So quantifiers are used with nouns to show quantity or amount. Okay, some examples of quantifiers are much, little, a lot of, a few, all, or most. So much, little, a lot of, a few, all, or most. Okay, now we're ready to practice quantifiers. Linda, how many craters are on the moon?
There are lots of craters on the moon. There must be about 500 of them.
Yes, I think you're right. Good. Sylvia, how many spaceships have people seen in your country?
I don't know. I think people have seen a few spaceships, maybe 3 or 4.
Good. Have you ever seen a spaceship, Sylvia?
No, I haven't.
Oh, too bad. Okay, Alberto, where are most of the world's rockets?
I am sure they are in the United States.
You're probably right. All right, thank you. Now, for all of you, it is time to look and listen.
Look and listen.
All of the UFOs were in the picture. Some of the robots were made of iron. A lot of people attended the blast-off. Paul could see a few stars with his telescope.
Read and repeat.
Now let's finish our review by discussing hope and wish. Let's look at some examples first. Tom hopes he can go to the United States this year. Tom wishes he could go to the United States this year. So we use hope and wish to talk about future actions or possible future actions. With the verb hope, there is possibility that things will happen. Okay, so for example, Tom hopes he can go to the United States this year means there is a possibility he can go. But with the verb wish, it's not likely, not probable or not likely that it will happen. So, Tom wishes he could go to the United States this year means there is little or no possibility that he could go. Okay, when we use the verb to wish, we use the past tense of the verb following it. This is to show the difference between reality and non-reality or fantasy. Okay, when we use the verb to be after wish, it's always in the form of were, no matter the subject. For example, I wish I were a rich man.